Respected students, especially those students who have registered for junior engineers for the PWD exams, which will be conducted shortly. Today I am going to teach you about the surveying, the subject called surveying. So now, before I give you the objective type questions, so I would like to give you the fundamental tips towards the survey. Then what are the different syllabus and how exactly the questions are to be answered from the surveying. So I will start with the fundamental things. This surveying, what is exactly surveying? So I think you already studied. Surveying is an art of determining relative positions of points on, below or above the surface of the earth by direct, indirect methods, So to be very frank, I am just going to define you the surveying in the same manner. Surveying is the art of determining the relative positions of points on, above or below the surface of the earth by means of direct or indirect measurements. Measurements of what? Measurements of distance, direction and elevation. So it also includes the art of establishing the points of predetermined angular and linear measurements. So this is what exactly the surveying. Now again, after having known about the definition of the surveying, then it is important to know the survey, how the survey is being classified. Again, the survey is being classified based on the purposes for which it is used. Okay. Now I just the first type of the surveying. The first type of surveying is called the land surveying. The classification, I am now explaining the classification of surveying. So the one is called as the land surveying, then hydrographic surveying or astronomical survey. So this is again the one classification based on the purpose. Then based on the object of the survey, again the second classification of the survey is based on the object of surveying. Again it's also classified into four or five groups. One is known as based on the object. The survey is classified into engineering surveys, military surveys, then mine surveys and archaeological survey. So this is based on the object of survey. Then coming back to the third classification, this classification is based on the instruments being used. Okay, based on the instruments being used, based on the particular instrument, if you use it, and based on that the survey is also classified. Then for example, I am going to tell you they are again divided. I am going to tell you what exactly how exactly this is being classified. Based on the instruments being used, the survey is being classified into chain surveying, theodolite surveying, traverse surveying, triangulation surveying, then tachymetric surveying, plane table surveying, then aerial surveying. My boys, of course, if you ask me, here the chains and the tapes are being used in this particular survey. That's why this survey is called the chain surveying. Then theodolite is a major instrument being used. That's called as the theodolite surveying. Then the triangulation survey. So this triangulation surveying is that particular surveying where the method of triangulation is being used. The method of triangulation is used to measure the distance. Okay. Then the other type of surveying is called the plane table surveying, not necessarily detail. Here the plane table is being used. So that's why this particular surveying is called as the plane table surveying. Then last one is known as the aerial surveying. Now it is exactly. So if you are taking the photographs aerially from the aerial distance or aerial elevation, then those particular survey work is called as the aerial surveying. So these are the major classification. This classification especially is based on the instrument being used. Okay. Next, then coming to the next important syllabus which is been quoted in your syllabus for the JEE and JEE PWD exams, that is called the principles of surveying. So after having known about the classification of surveying, then it is important to know the principles of surveying. Then what are there are two principles on which the most of the survey work is being carried out. So again, they call it as the fundamental principles. The fundamental principles upon which the various methods of surveying, surveying or the plane survey are classic based on the two very simple principles. Again, they are based on the two major principles. The first one is the first principle of the surveying is called as is known as the location of the point by measurements of from 2 point of reference. So first is I read it first. Afterwards, I am going to explain you how exactly this thing is. So first is the location of the point by location of the point. I am very sure location of the point by measurement from 2 points of reference. Measurement, that is, if you are locating a point by with reference to the two known reference points. Then second is the second principle of the surveying is working from whole to part. Now I am going to explain you. What is this location of the point by measurements from 2 point of reference. So again, I am telling you again, it's a simple things. If you take the triangle, understand or not, like triangle A, B and the C, then if the distance AB, if the distance AB is given, and by for example, if it is an equilateral triangle, I am going to give a simple example of that. If it is an equilateral triangle ABC, naturally the distance between A and B are given, then the C is to be located. The point C is to be located. Okay. So again, now here it is nothing but a location of point C with reference to the 2 points A and B in the triangulation or a simple triangle. I understand or not? How it could be done? So when the distance AB is known with AB as a center, with AB as a distance, A as a center, you cut a arc, and with B as a center, with BA as a radius, you cut that center, then it will cut at a point C. Understand or not? So that is what exactly you are locating the point with reference to the two known points A and B. So this is what exactly the first principle of surveying. What it says, it is nothing but location of the point, a point whose with reference to the two known points. So now I have told you the two known points are A and B. The unknown point is C, and here the AB, the distance AB is also given. Of course, the distance AB is also given, or the angle A and angle B is also given. In both way it can be done. So that way, understand? So this is what the first principle of survey. Then coming to the second principle, as I told you already, it is nothing but working from whole to part. Understand? What exactly the things? So again, in surveying, any quantum of work if it is carried, you have to have the bigger framework. Understand now? The whole survey, wherever that a framework is being properly located, understand or not? It may be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever that, which is a closed circle or a closed traverse. Then now you are locating those whole points, understand or not? Now you are working out the smaller points with reference to the major points A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever that distance. So here working from the whole of the framework and locating, again after that you are locating what? You are locating those smaller offset points, understand or not? It may be offset point or a traverse point or any other smaller points, whole to part. So those inner offsets or whatever that which you are locating are the nothing but a parts, understand or not? Part by part you are locating it. Unless the whole framework is not known, what the principle says, it is working from whole to the part, means you are working from the whole framework, whose distances, whose points, everything is known to you. So for example, is a closed traverse of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, which is meeting at the starting point, ends with the same point. Then if the framework is properly located, example, there all your distance will be known. All these details are known to the whole work of the surveying, which is to be. And the inner work, the inner offset distance and other particular distance which are to be located, they are called the part by part work, understand or not? That's why here working from the whole framework and again you are locating the small or part of the work in this one. Then again coming back to these are the 2 points. Example I also given you for as for the second principle also considered. I have given you example also working from whole to part. Understand or not? It is simple question law. So again, in the second principle, it says, so you are working from the whole framework to the small part by part work, where the small offsets or any particular points which are to be relocated after having known the whole part of it or whole framework of it. So this is the second principle, which is very important. Usually in the examination they are going to ask you one of the example, the question may come up with one of the principles of surveying. Understand or not? They are going to give you one options 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever that. Then this way you should be able to answer why I am taking the first class in surveying without going directly into the objective questions. You should know what fundamentals of surveying, basics of surveying, what is surveying, what are the classification of surveying, what are the principles of surveying. These you should know, understand or not. Then coming to the next is units of measurements. In surveying, the units of measurements should also be are very important points to be known. There are 4 kinds of measurements used in plane surveying. And I am simply going to the plane surveying work. Here, the plane surveying, if you take into the account, then the units especially in special, there are 4 kinds of measurements. There are 4 kinds of measurements in plane surveying. What are they? So again, it's simple: determination of horizontal distance, determination of vertical distance, determination of horizontal angles, and determination of vertical angles. So again, simple way I am going to tell you the 4 kinds of measurements in special or in particular the plane surveying are 4 again. One is known as the horizontal distance, measurements of horizontal distance. Understood? It is understood. Correct? That is 4 kinds of measurements. Measurements in what? Measurements in horizontal distance, measurements in vertical distance, and also the measurements in horizontal angle and also vertical angle. So again, you should also know the units of measurements. There are 4 kinds of measurements usually used in the case of plane surveying. They are again horizontal distance, vertical distance, horizontal angle, and also the vertical angle. So this is what exactly the fundamental things. Then coming back to if you go into the still detail about the surveying and all, I would like to just talk about the surveying. So before this actual type of the surveying is to be taken, I am coming back to the chain surveying. Understand or not? I told you already. In special, I am going to tell you your syllabus is being divided into 4 important classification. Understand or not? So first portion is the chain surveying, second portion is known as a compass surveying, third portion is called the plane table surveying, and fourth is known as a leveling. Understand or not? These are the 4 topics majorly usually covered under this. Understand or not? And again, in extension to these 4, that is chain surveying, compass surveying, then plane table surveying, and also the leveling or the level surveying or leveling. Then there is also a electronic theodolite. Understand or not? EDM they call it, electronic distance measurements. And understand or not? Which is to be done by total station. Total station is one of the instrument. The latest and most of the survey work now are being carried, are being done by making use of the total station. So let us not going to the electronic digital measurement. So we'll discuss one by one about chain surveying. Understand or not? So again, as it is an indication of the chain surveying, then again the chain surveying is a surveying, of course, in a simple way, where the direct measurements, by making use of the chain surveying, is also again by making use of chain surveying. Of course, the tape surveying they will not call, because even though the tape is also being used in chain surveying, I'll tell you the chain surveying is that surveying where the horizontal distance, horizontal measurements, the horizontal measurements is being measured by making use of chain or tape. Understand or not? Just a simple definition of the chain surveying. So now after having known the definition of the chain surveying, then what exactly the instruments being used in the next question is that. Understand or not? Just now, even though you are using some other instruments, understand or not, with chains, but usually it is been quoted or it is always referred as a chain surveying. Understand or not? As I told you already, chain surveying is that type of surveying where the horizontal distance or the longitudinal distance, if you are very particular, is being measured by making use of chain and tape. Understand or not? Now, after having known the method of direct measurement by making use of the chain surveying, then it is again, before going to the chain surveying, I tell you again what are the different methods. You should know what are the different methods of direct measurements. If you ask me, then I say that the important methods of measuring the horizontal distance or the distances, if in particular, are four. One is known as the facing. Even the measurement horizontal distance can also be measured by facing, correct or not? By your footstep, understand or not? On an average width of the footstep, then by counting the number of footsteps you are making along the horizontal distance, then that the measurement of that particular distance between A and B or P and Q can be measured. This is what exactly the first one. Then second to the measurements by using the passometer. There is also one of the method of measuring the horizontal distance. Then coming to the measurement with pedometer, understand or not? The pedometer is also one of the smaller instrument where the horizontal distance or the horizontal measurements can also be made. And again, you know, by even the measurement, the third method is the measurement of the distance by using the speedometer, understand or not? So these all speedometers are being equipped in your vehicles, two-wheelers, four-wheelers, wherever they are there. So then if you look into the speedometer, it will not only show you the speed at which you are going, but at the same time it will be showing you the total distance covered, understand or not? It may be 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, 10 kilometer, 20 kilometer. That speedometer, by making use of the speedometer, you can also have the idea of getting the horizontal distance, understand or not? A car moves from one place to another, correct or not? One district to another, understand or not? Then if you make the speedometer as a 0 at the beginning, kilometer reading, then by reaching that particular distance, by reaching that particular distance, that district, whatever that, then if you just look into the speedometer, then it will tell you so much kilometers. It may be 100 kilometer or 120 kilometer. So this is also a distance. Of course, 1 kilometer equal to 1000 meters means it will tell you the total distance in meters or total distance in kilometer. So that's also, the speedometer is also one of the measurements, one of the basic measurements where the distances can also be measured directly, correct? No? So I told you, the first is a facing, second is by using passometer, third is known as a pedometer, and fourth is known as a speedometer, and last one is known as a chaining, understand or not? Just now I told you, chaining is also a method of measurement of the distances directly. I use the word directly. The measurement of the distance directly by making use of the speedometer, understand? By making use of the chaining, understand or not? Now I am telling you, even though chaining is very common word, there are some other instruments being used for chaining, understand or not? So let's go to the things you should know always. Of course, these are the points to be asked. Now I am giving you, basically I am giving you the concept of chain surveying and understand. Not only the surveying, in overall I am giving you the introduction of surveying. What exactly surveying mean, how their classification, what are its principles, what are its methods, these all things I am explaining. In particular today I am explaining about the chain surveying. Then coming to the, just now I told you, after having known about the definition of the chain surveying, then you should know what are the instruments used in chain surveying, or what are the instruments used in chaining. Both are same. So if you ask me, the different method, different instruments used in chaining are, number one, chains, no doubt, a chain, it may be metric chain or the different types of chains, whatever that, the tapes, then you should also say the ranging rods, then you should also have the offset rods, plumbing bob, then again the wooden pegs, whatever that. So these are the basic requirement, basic instrument being used in chain surveying. I repeat once again, first is a chain or a tape, or it may be arrows, or it may be offset rods, it may be a ranging rods, and also a plumb bob. These are the basic instruments being used in particularly in chain surveying or in chaining, understand or not? Then if you ask me chains, there are again the 4 types of the chains. My boys, just try to understand again. There are 4 types of the chains. 4 or 5 types, no doubt. One is known as a metric chain. Second is known as a Gunter's chain or surveyor's chain. Third is known as the engineer's chain. And fourth is known as the revenue chain. And last one is known as the steel band or the band chain. Understand? There are 5 types of the chains are being used, commonly used. Among all these things, the metric chain is commonly used. Understand or not? Then, just if you in the examination, if they ask you what are the different types of the chains, the answer is this. One is known as a metric chain, and second is known as a revenue chain. Third is known as the engineer chain. Fourth is known as the revenue chain, and last is known as a steel band or the band chain. Understand? These are the 5 different types of chains being used. Then regarding the metric chain, I told you already, metric chain is very commonly used in chain survey. Understand or not? This is most commonly used type of used chain. Of course, this particular chain consisting of again, for every 1 meter, the small tallies are being fixed. Of course, I cannot show you the cross section. Of course, in the coming classes, I may show you the cross section or the what are the important components of the metric chain. Now, I tell you their particular distance. Of course, these metric chains are available in 20 meter and also in the 30 meters. Of course, the length of the metric chain is 20 meter, and also they are available in 30 meters also. And details of the metric chain I am going to discuss in the coming class also. Understand or not? Then coming to the next important the version. Of course, the next important instrument being used is a tape. Understand or not? So again, my boys, you should also know, as I told you the different types of the chains. Again, there are different types of tapes. So the different types of the chains, if you ask me, then the one is known as a linen tape. Second is known as a metallic tape, third is known as a steel tape, and fourth is known as a invert tape. Understand or not? These are the 4 different types of the tapes being commonly used. Understand or not? The linen tape is made up of cloth, then second metallic tape is made up of the metal, and steel tape is made up of the steel, and invert tape is also a specific tape consisting of a strip of steel. Understand or not? Strip of steel. So these are the 4 types of the tapes are being used. Then coming to the next one, I told you, arrows are the nothing but they are marking pins, which where after having measured the distance of A, B, C, D, whatever that, then you cannot fix all these particular arrows all along the. You cannot fix all along the distance. There may be about 100 points. You cannot put each and every point the ranging rods. Understand? I am going to tell you what is ranging rod also coming that. So these marking pins are also being used to mark the point, maybe A, B, C, D, whatever that. So arrows are nothing but a marking pins which are made up of a stout steel wire. Understand? Then coming important is the next is the ranging rods. Understand? See, ranging rods are the rods available in the length of 2 meter, 3 meter, nowadays 4 meter also. These are the rods available in the different length. They are used for ranging. Understand or not? See, the use for ranging. So now if I say the ranging rods, or I should have to tell you what is ranging, correct or not? Ranging is the measurement of a distance, correct or not? Measurement of the distance, of any particular length. Understand or not? Of any particular, it may be 20 meter or 30 meter, 100 meter. If I say, if I want to measure the distance between AB, whose length is 100 meter, I want a straight road or straight length between A and B, perfect straight line between A and B by making. So this is possible. By making use of ranging rods. That's why. So ranging is a method of measurement of a distance by simple method of direct ranging. Understand? By simple method of direct ranging. I think you diploma holders, you must be knowing what exactly ranging means. So I just give you an example of that. There will be 2 ranging rods which are already there. You can keep it at any particular distance, A and B. In between that, a center ranging rod is also placed. Understand or not? Then the person who is standing at the first point A will be looking at the looking at that particular point, so the third man, he is making it, he is directing the person standing at B and also standing at C, the middle point. So then if you look at the beginning, the ranging rod A, ranging rod B and also ranging rod C will be the same straight line. If the three lines, the three ranging rods placed along the chain line, if they are in the same line, then it is say that the distance AB is perfectly straight. Understand or not? It is nothing but what you have done now. What I have told, it is nothing but you have done you have done a direct ranging. So when the direct ranging is possible, when the distance between the 2 points are visible to each other, when the distance between the 2 points are known, are visible to each other. So the person ranging rod placed at A and the ranging rod placed at B at a distance of 50 meter example, then both the ranging rods are visible. Understand or not? Both ranging rods are, even though you are keeping at a particular distance, they are available and they are seen, they are visible from a distance. Understand? Both ranging rods A and B are visible. The ranging rod placed at A can able to see the person standing at B, and it is vice versa also. The person standing at B could able to see the ranging rod placed at A. Both the ranging rods are visible to the both person. Understand? So this is any distance between A and B of 50 meter or 100 meter, anything, then that particular measurement by direct ranging is possible, and this is only possible by making use of ranging rods. That's why the ranging rods are those particular rods which are used for ranging, correct or not, which are used in measurement of the 2 points A and B or P and Q or whatever that, by method of direct ranging. Understand? So my friends, you may ask me, why sir is always telling about direct ranging? There should be another method. So you are right, my boys. There is also another method called the indirect ranging, correct or not? So now if you ask me, what is direct ranging, I told you already. The direct ranging is that particular method where the 2 points whose distance is to be measured, or the ranging rod placed at one point, the ranging rod placed at another point whose distance is to be measured, or the distance between these 2 points is measured, both are visible to each other. Understand or not? So in the second case, indirect method, indirect ranging, the 2 points A and B are not visible to each other. If the distance between A and B is 100 meter or whatever that, you don't know, 100 meter example I am telling you. And so whereas the person standing at A, where the ranging rod is being placed, cannot able to see the person standing at B with the ranging rod, means the 2 ranging rods A and B are not visible to each other, Still then the distance between A and B can be measured, correct or not? Still then the distance between A and B can be measured, whose length is more than a one chain length. I am very careful. Whose distance is more than a one chain length. What is the length of the chain? It is a 30 meter. Understand or not? Then naturally the distance between AB should be more than 30 meter. It may be 40 meter, 50 meter, 100 meter, or any particular distance. So that distance which are not visible to each other, the ranging rod A and ranging rod B, whose distance is around 50 or whatever that, then which are not visible to each other, even then the distance between AB can be measured. Even then the distance between the AB can be measured by a simple method of ranging called as indirect ranging. There the 2 points are visible to each other, that is called the direct ranging. Here the 2 points are not visible to each other, that is called as the indirect ranging. Okay, I think you understood. So in the coming classes I am going to tell you how the indirect ranging method can also be used. So that's why the question may come, I am telling you. Indirect ranging is used. Indirect ranging is used. There are 4 options are there. When the 2 distances are available to each other, when the 2 distances are not visible to each other, when both points are visible to each other. The question may come in that one. The right answer is when the 2 points A and B, or whatever that, which are not visible to each other. There the indirect method of ranging. This may be a simple question, may be asked in survey. Understand or not? Then after knowing the ranging rods, then again I told you already the offset rods are there. Then again with these are the plumb bob is also one of the instrument. So these are the instruments used in chain survey. Understand or not? Then ranging out a survey line means we are finding out the distance between the 2 points by using the method of ranging. That the method is called as a ranging out survey lines. So there are two methods. One is known as the direct ranging, second is known as the indirect ranging. Understand or not? Just now I told the ranging out a survey lines are two. One is by method of direct ranging, second is known as the method of direct ranging and indirect ranging. In the first method, direct ranging, when the 2 points are visible to each other. In the second method, indirect ranging, the 2 points are not visible to each other. The 2 points whose distance is to be measured, they are not visible to each other. Then coming to the next one, I am going to end up with a brief introduction today. What exactly this thing? No, I am going to tell you errors. I am just give you errors in chain survey. Now you may ask me, the measurement of the distance by making use of chain is not that much precise and accurate. I tell you again, the measurement of the distance by using the chain is not so accurate, even though you have done a perfect ranging. I used to that. That's why the measurement of the distance by using the tape, understand or not, even the distance after having measured with the help of the chain can also be measured or corrected by making use of a tape, understand or not. That's why there will be, then naturally if I say this word, there will be error occurs due to the incorrect chain, correct or not? The error occurs due to the incorrect chain or the wrong length of the chain, and the incorrect length of the chain or incorrect chain. So these errors, again there are so many errors are there. I'm going to tell you in the coming classes. For that, again errors, there may be I'm going to tell you, there may be correction due to the length, errors, correction due to the length, correction to the area, correction due to the length by being measured with help of the chain, then correction due to the area by making use of the chain, understand or not. Therefore the respective error which has been occurred due to the wrong measurement of the length of the chain by making use of chain, and by making use of those particular area which has been measured by making use of the chain. So that area which is been measured wrongly, that can also be a error. That's called as error due to the wrong measurement of the area. And naturally the correction due to the length, correction due to the area is also given. A simple empirical formulas are being given, and by making use of these empirical formula, you can have the correction to the measurement length, correction due to the measured area by making use of the chain and all. A simple empirical formulas will tell you correction to the length, correction to the measured length, correction to the measured area, and the correction to the volume, again correction to the volume which has been measured with the wrong length of the chain. So this is what exactly the error due to the incorrect chain and all. Okay, now if you ask me the chain, there are chaining can be done. Okay, the chaining is be done on the plain ground, correct or not, even surface. So then the method of chaining is also being applied to the sloping ground also, uneven surface ground, understand or not. So that's why that particular concept is known as chaining on a uneven or a sloping ground, understand or not. There is also a concept of measurement of a distance, uneven distance, sloping distance by making use of chain. That method is known as chaining on an uneven ground or chaining on a sloping ground. A simple direct method is also used. Indirect method here in this also, chaining on a uneven or a sloping ground. There are two methods. One is known as the direct method, second is known as the indirect method. The direct method and indirect method I am going to explain you when I take up the cross section of it and tell you. Again, by just simply explaining you the direct method of measurement along the sloping ground, you will not understand, and a smaller sketch is required. I am going to explain you. There is also indirect method of measurement of distance along the sloping ground or an uneven ground. So that is also a simple empirical formulas are being used, and these empirical formulas will tell you how to measure the distances along the sloping ground or uneven ground. But you should know the concept of this. So the chaining is the measurement of the distance by making use of chain can also be measured on the even ground also, but also on the uneven ground also. You should know. Okay, chaining on this concept is known as chaining on uneven or a sloping ground. So this is what I am going to explain you. Don't worry. I am going to explain you the concept of that. So why I have taken the today's topic is, instead of directly going to the objective type questions, at least the student should know what is the basic concept of surveying. What is surveying? What are the principles of surveying? What are the methods of surveying? And what are the different types of instrument being used in surveying? And what are the ranging? What are the different two types of ranging? So these all are the basic things I am going to explain to you, so that you should know when the questions comes from the, even though I am going to talk about the different objective questions, understand? So I am going to explain you how the more than 100, as far as myself, my knowledge is concerned, I am going to give you 100 objective questions, which are likely to be asked in surveying topic, which are likely to be asked in surveying topic. Then how the questions are being asked, how the answer. I am also going to tell you why this particular answer is the right answer for that particular question. There also I am going to explain you in a very comprehensive manner. Understand? But before I go into the different objective type questions, so I am giving you a simple introduction of the surveying today. Okay, so you try to understand, try to follow my video, where you will understand the concept of surveying or the introduction of surveying. What exactly surveying means and all. Okay, then in the coming classes, I am going to, of course, with small 2 minutes I am going to explain. There are, after this one, there is also one topic which is likely to be asked. That is called errors in chaining. Understand or not? Errors in chaining. So again, just now I told you that correction due to the length of the chain. Correction is different. Errors are different. Understand or not? So errors in chaining, again I am going to give you simple way by going. The errors are errors due to the incorrect length of the chain. So again I am going to list the errors, especially in the chain surveying. Errors are mistakes. Errors and mistakes. I am going to tell you elaborated. Errors and mistakes may arise from so many things. I am going to read those particular things. Number one, due to the erroneous length of the chain or tape. Second is careless holding and making, non-horizontability, and next is the variation in the temperature. Then next is due to the bad ranging and also bad straightening, sag in a chain, then variation in the pull, and also a personal mistakes. These are the errors and mistakes which are likely to happen in chaining. I repeat now, the errors in chaining are 4 or 5. I told you these are the errors. Don't get confused with again that particular length correction to the, this is different. These are the errors or mistakes in chaining or chain surveying. You can say that they are. Once again I am going to list it. The errors or mistakes in chain surveying or in chaining are, I am going to repeat it once again. First one is erroneous length of the chain or tape. Second is bad ranging. Third is careless holding and marking. Fourth is bad straightening. Then fifth is non-horizontality, and sixth is sag in chain, and seventh is variation in the temperature, and eighth is variation in the pull, and the last is the personal mistakes. Correct or not? Mistakes made by the survey man or the chain man in measurement. Understand or not? These are the 7 errors or mistakes likely to be raised or likely to come across in chain surveying or in chaining. So now, with all elaborate meaning and all, as these particular errors are there, then again the correction is also there. Understand or not? So these particular correction also to be made. If you are then by those particular errors which has been occurred after the measurement, then proper correction also to be given. So I am going to talk about these things in the coming classes or coming videos. So now basically I introduced the chain surveying. Understand or not? So this way I introduce the subject survey. In the next video, I am going to talk about all the objective type questions. Understand or not? About 100 objective type surveying, objective type questions which are likely to be asked from this topic called as a survey. Then the objective type questions may arise from maybe from the different topics which I told. The objective type questions may be from chain surveying, maybe from the compass surveying, maybe from the plane table surveying, maybe from the leveling surveying or level surveying, and maybe from the other particular surveying called as electronic distance meter. So from the 5 topics under this particular surveying, the different questions, different objective questions are to be made. So in the next video, I am going to, before going to the objective type, I am also going to give you, throw light on some compass surveying and also the plane table surveying and also on the leveling. So after having known about these three fundamental topics in these particular topics, then I am going to give you, I am going to answer the objective type questions. Okay, these objective type questions, definitely I am not just simply giving you the answer for those objective questions, objective type questions, but at the same time I am going to give you the why this particular answer, it may be A, B, C, D or whatever that, why this particular answer is the right answer for that particular question. I am going to explain the answer, the right answer with the real concept behind it. Understand? So wait for the next video. I am going to explain you the objective type questions. Okay, I hope you have understood the basic or fundamental introduction of the survey. So with this, I am going to close this, and very shortly my next video is going to come, this one, that will be on the elaborate or comprehensive objective questions with answers. Understand? Thank you very much.